What's up, everyone, and welcome in to the Ryan Ripken Show. No, I'm not Ryan Ripken. I am Zach Bollinger, and we have a little different show today. A different type of show, obviously, as we've been telling you guys for the past week or so. This is a time that we usually sit and we will take a break, but because we don't want the content to stop, we're working through it, but obviously things are up in the air right now as we get some things figured out as we head into the baseball season. So, little different show today, and we decided that instead of kind of sitting here talking about nothing, instead of not having a show at all, in honor of Eddie Murray's 70th birthday being yesterday, we are going to show the entire 30-plus minute sit-down that Ryan had with Eddie Murray over this past summer, where he talks about everything throughout his career, growing up, his hitting philosophy, his batting practice philosophy. So a lot to talk about there. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. And before we start this stream, wanted to head over to the other stream, our auto stream. $50 off when you mention the Ryan Ripken Show. A lot of stuff happening out there, a lot of weather. If you need anything done to your car, anything fixed up, head on over to our friends over at AutoStream, and they will take care of you. Tell them the Ryan Ripken Show sent you and get $50 off. Cannot be combined with other offers. But let's get right into it. Happy birthday to an Orioles legend, Eddie Murray. Last summer, Ryan sat down with Eddie and talked for over 30 minutes about everything. So here is that full Eddie Murray interview, and we'll talk a little bit on the other side. Hope you all enjoy.
Big career. You've accomplished everything as an athlete that people could dream of, but then you even still don't look at yourself as big old Ed. Everyone that's screaming Ed, you don't think that way yourself.
Oh, no. I got 7 sisters, and I had 4 brothers. Now, the brothers, the older 3 you didn't mess with. Well, there was 3 older men. I didn't mess with them. The younger one, I could deal with Richard for a minute, and then he got bigger than me, and then that had to stop. But then you got 7 sisters.
Your family was humbling you at a young age.
Oh, yeah, you always had to be that way. Just being in the house. The girls did not fight, and with Dad around, you weren't supposed to fight them. But I tell you, the boys, my oldest brother, man, he was scary. And I remember there was times I think all the boys had the fear of my older brother more so than my father. Mm-hmm. My oldest brother was extremely strong. He could run like you wouldn't believe. I mean, he was just unbelievable. Never played baseball until he hit a ball in gym class.
That's how he got noticed.
And the guy, Phil Pope, was the main guy behind Moneyball with the Oakland A's, the movie.
Yep.
My brother and them went to that school, and he saw Charles hit a ball, and he rushed into the office, and he came back out. I got to see this kid hit again. He watches him hit, and he hits another one. Holy crap. So this goes down. So he says, come on out and try out for the team. And he goes, try for the team. He says, what team? And he has to find out that the high school had a baseball team. But he says, come on out. And he says, you have to ask my mother. He said, I'm sorry. What grade are you? He says, I'm a senior. And he says, I have to ask your mother? He said, yeah. And you had to find out to talk to Mom. He knew not to call back. He told my mother told him he had to get home and do chores and all of these things like we had a mansion. Now, I'm one of 12.
Yeah.
Do chores. Now, how big do you think our house is? But then how,
Well, now I'm curious. Then you're saying you had 12. How big? How?
No, we had bunk beds and stuff like that. I mean, it was technically cool, but it was, it wasn't. We weren't extravagant.
You were packed in.
Yes.
You were packed in. Mm-hmm. It was a full house.
Yes.
To say the
like
least.
I said, 7 girls and 5 boys. Yeah. It was tough. It wasn't tough. It was really great. We didn't need anything. we were really our friends, our best friends. We in that house. That's how we grew up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that's why I always love going back to it. And, we'll get into with Ozzie Smith talking about playing with you. But everyone thinks, Ed, the upbringings of when you get to greatness, they sit there and go, well, you got to be so talented. I mean, and you have to have the talent, and you might think they have the resources. But for you just found different ways to play in the backyard, find ways to have fun. Do you have any of those young memories of back in the day with all the siblings where you were trying to, I don't know. I heard you tell one story about you and your brother to try to challenge yourself, right? That's how you learned that you could switch hit and throw with the left hand too.
Yeah. Well, we in our house, as long as you were out of sight, you were good. You play all you want. Don't hit the house. It knocked the clock down, and whoever hit it had to come in and do some kind of chores, mopping the floors, and all of this stuff, doing it. This is how that started. So we had to play games to stay invisible. And I'll still say our best game we ever had, the top of the Crisco can that your mother and father used to fry chicken with and all.
Yeah.
You take that plastic top, and if you held it like you were going to lock it down, and if you threw it like this, you threw a curveball.
Mhm.
But if you held it upside down, you could really throw a fastball and hold down the movement on it. But that's only that big. So we're playing, and we just really learned to play like that. And then we were hitting the bat so well with the bat that we pretended to break the broom one night. So now we got to hit with a broomstick instead of hitting with a baseball bat. And we had to play it and own up to it. It accidentally broke the broom, so we had to get a new broom. But then that became our baseball bat. We had to play games, man. We had to keep active out there playing. Otherwise, you were going to be in the house doing chores. And
I like that. Stay invisible. Try to figure out rule number 1, don't hit the house. Rule number 2, don't break anything in the house.
Mhm.
That's, Dad, Calvin, what did you used to call him? You used to call him Junior back in the day?
No, he was, when I heard your dad call him Bub, then he became Bub to me.
So Bub was senior, but then what'd you call Junior? Junior?
Junior was Bub too.
They're all
Yeah.
Bub. Okay, so they're all the same.
And like I said, you should have seen the fights at shortstop, and he just had more energy than me. He would come in, he'd fight Ralph Salvon, he would fight, when Trey Benham got there, he would fight him and Sheets. And he thinks he's going to run me off shortstop. After I took my ground balls at first, I always stood at short. And he's getting upset looking at me over here, So finally, why are you over here? Then that started a little chirping.
Mm-hmm.
We started. I'm hitting, hit him in his eye, and then all of a sudden, oh, he's not going to stop. So I just lay on the ground, and then he'll quit a lot sooner. He'll just punch you in the back and in the shoulder. So he just had more energy than me. I didn't have energy to waste like that.
Yeah, he's a menace.
Yeah.
Believe me, I grew up with it at times. You had to deal with it on the ball field and in the locker rooms and off the field more than I had to deal with in a setting there.
You ever hear about the hockey games they had in the old Memorial Stadium locker room?
The hockey.
Well,
games.
it had it was a baseball they would play with, or they tried to do it with a socks and roll it up so tight, and they would hit and try to score in between these two lockers. But the locker was about that high, and oh man, this game to go forever. And they try to get me to ain't playing with you.
No, I mean, and Mr. Competitive over there, he's not allowed to lose.
Right.
And if you lose, guess what? You're going to play again. Ed, I don't know if I told you a story. You ever played the card game cribbage with him at all by any chance?
No.
So he got obsessed with the card game cribbage.
Mm-hmm.
And we were flying back this was after he was done playing. We were flying back from South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And guess who beat him in the trip back?
Ooh.
So I said, when we get back to the States, we're done. Game's over.
Yeah.
And of course I'm winning, and we have to take one more flight after we land in Atlanta to go back to Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, no, the rule technicality, we're not home yet.
Yeah.
And I go, no, we're in the States. And he wouldn't let me go to sleep. He wouldn't let me relax. He then beat me 3 times in a row, flipped the switch, and he goes, oh, no, we're done now. just so he felt like he could win.
No, that's him. He definitely hasn't changed, and he's offered. Yeah, you can stay with me. We got this bedroom, blah blah blah. But that's all to get the challenge in something.
Yes,
you're gonna play something, and then he's gonna want to win. Yeah. Oh, I knew him very well.
I don't know how you dealt with him all those years, but he, I want to ask a little bit more on that relationship because even though he might have put the fear in you at times, and he'd probably be the other nickname that he had growing up for me was the Annoying Man, TAM, the Annoying Man. You gave him confidence. I don't know if maybe you did know that for all the years, but you gave him confidence as a young player because he felt like you were fearless out there. And I'll be honest, Ed, I wouldn't want to mess with you looking back at those days. I went back and looked at the 83 ALCS, the White Sox in Game 3. You got a ball that came a little bit up and in.
That was after they hit him.
It already hit him, but then you said some words back. And
I just told him pretty much to do what you want to do. I says, you got another pitch, do what you want to do with it. But the thing that made us mad was Tony La Russa, who we hit their players with a couple of curveballs.
Yeah.
So they hit Rip before me. Well, hell, I didn't have the protection. Well, he had me hitting behind him, so I said, you always getting pitches. So anyway, I ended up I didn't move. And someone came up and says, Eddie, move. I said, if he flinches, I swear to you, he'll wake up in the hospital. And the Roos was standing right. I said, move. And he let it go. Well, that's when I took Richard Dotson deep. But then I saw him. And see, it don't stop there with me where I come from. But, we're in a hotel. And now he's trying to check in, and I'm like standing there, and I want something. I mean, I don't know if he thought I wanted to fight anymore, but no, it wasn't over with me.
But that was the mentality. I mean, that's kind of how you had that confidence, that fearlessness of, hey, you know what? Just so you know, I remember what you did, and I'm not going to back down from you. I think that's what made you so great. And talking to Ozzie Smith when I had him on, he said one thing. He said, I wish that I had Eddie's confidence. I'm like, was Eddie always believe in himself in the beginning? He goes, oh, Eddie. but it's true. I think, Ozzie was telling a story, Ed, when he was in college and said, he was ready to quit in college because he felt like he was the backup, wasn't playing, and he didn't believe in kind of himself. How did you have belief in yourself from the jump? I mean, I know that's easier said than done for some people.
It was just what we did all the time. We played. We didn't do a whole lot of losing. Our neighborhoods, I mean, we played against Hubie Brooks. We played against Alice Valentine. We played against everybody.
Yeah.
We had already played each other and growing up. But Ozzie ticked me off because he played with me. I mean, since I was 8, he was 9.
Yeah.
And the thing was he could really play. And it's like, what are you doing? I mean, all of a sudden he wasn't hitting the ball. And I'm saying, you're listening to too many people. I said, get them out of your head. Get them out of your head. You can play this game. And, it was a lot of that going on. Basketball, like I said, that was my point guard. And we played and we just went out there to be competitive, but we love just being active.
Multi-athlete. You just wanted to go out there and play. Didn't matter what it was. Especially nowadays, it's a huge conversation with people of, well, you just got to be a baseball guy. No, go be an athlete. Go be a competitor. Go do what you got to do. Because I think along the lines of that, you
will associate that and put it into this particular game, and that particular game could take this and that. I mean, it's amazing, really, how you could use them.
So the lessons, it sounds like, that you got from it.
Yeah.
Each lesson from the sports, you learned how to solve a problem in different ways, how to compete in different ways. I got to ask then, because this is, you move forward. You obviously got drafted, had the opportunity. What was the first thing you learned when you got into the minor leagues then about being a professional ball player?
Keep an eye on some of these nuts. These were grown-ass men, excuse my language, but they were. And the one thing, well, there was actually 2 incidents. there was one where one of our teammates hit another guy with a bat. But there was a conversation that it wasn't for Dennis's ears, and he assumed he should be entitled to everything since he was in the car.
Yeah.
No, this one's past you, leave it alone.
Right.
And he called him something. He went to fill up the gas tank. He went in the trunk. He came out and he's chasing him with the bat. And he goes, oh, well, he's not going to hit me. Well, he finally decided to stop almost after a half a block. He would have taken it to the head if he didn't put his arm up.
Wow.
So you had to deal with that, and you learned that these guys are young still. You just had to grow up, and you did not, everybody thought I was nice, but I don't know if they saw you in moments you weren't smiling. But see, playing this game, baseball, everybody said, I laugh too much. I'm having too much. But then it's like, I'm mean. I mean, well, what am I?
All the people that knew you knew and talked about how much they loved you, and all the ones that didn't know you, especially when they played, didn't want to mess with you because of that type of fear.
Yeah.
And that's what I was alluding to with my dad, is you gave him the confidence that, hey, you can be who you are off the field, and you want to have fun on the field. But also you shouldn't fear anybody on the field. You need to set the tone. I think that's what you did. You set the tone from the get-go. And I mean, how you played for, goodness, Ed. I'm trying to remember all the years you played. How many years you ended up playing?
3.5 in the minor leagues, and then there was 21 in the big leagues.
That's it?
Yeah.
Only 21 years in the bigs?
That was enough. And I was just so mad because I gotten hurt. That's why I retired. I swung, I threw the bat. I never throw the bat. I threw it to the mound, and oh, crap. I'm embarrassed as hell to go to the mound and go get the bat. So I go there, and I'm looking down. And I pick up the bat, I turn around, and I walk back. I get about 12 steps. Ooh, I don't have the bat. This controlled your hands closing.
Yeah.
And that's what I had torn. When they found it, they said they found it up here, and the doctor went running down the hallway, trying to get all the doctors to come. You got to see how big this tendon is here. And, because I used to do stuff and, hit the ball, and I was just flick my wrist and stuff all the time. And what I was thinking of, there were times when I didn't guess right.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to stand there and take the pitch, so I would flick it. And there were a lot of hits in that swing. and they would look at me and, they just couldn't understand how I do this.
Well, also, what was the size of your bat again that you swung?
Oh, well, that changed. My first year I was swinging a 35 length 32. And the guy from Louisville came up, and he's watching me hit batting practice, and he finally, after BP, he starts calling me. He's behind me, but he has clothes on.
Yeah.
I didn't know him. So it fell on deaf ears. So he kept walking behind me, and he said, is Rex such and such from Louisville? And I go, oh, it's the back.
Yeah.
So I stop. He starts talking to me. Now, up comes Lee May and Elrod Hendricks, and they're listening to him. And, oh, don't worry about that. We'll get him. We'll get him some weight on the bat. Next thing you know, they got me all the way up to 36 length, 38 in the weight. And everybody else is going, well, I don't swing it any harder. They said, if anything, you swing it less. And it's in the ball will jump. But that was funny, and watching how that actually transpired.
Most people now, they just swing like a -3, like a 34, 31, 33, 30. You swung a literal tree trunk. I mean, I know with my dad, he had the 35, 35s, 35, 33s.
That's what I swung predominantly, was 35 and a half, 35, the majority of my years.
Still at 35, 35 is a log, Ed. I mean, but you're saying you kept it simple. You didn't try to do more. Hey, bigger bat. Just try to get the bat to
get it started. That was.
Get it started.
Yeah.
What was then, you're talking about with hitting, and I could go down a rabbit hole with you with hitting because I've seen it, but I think you're a very simple guy when it comes to hitting. What was your approach? What did you want to do? If you're talking about you got to be simple with swinging a big bat, you got to have a pretty simple approach to be able to do that.
Somehow right-handed, I had the stance. It was a little taller than I was the curveball went up. I could see the curveball go up.
Yeah.
So I more or less figured I didn't have to guess or stuff for that. But I was pretty damn good. If I was just somebody, if I hit a home run off a curveball, well, next time up, I'm sorry, I was looking for a fastball. And they said, how do you hit changeups up first pitch? Well, did you see what I did to him the last time up?
You're watching what you're remembering what you did to the
Absolutely.
pitcher.
Absolutely. And this is a thing of where people would go, you're hitting these pitches, and it's the first freaking pitch. But it's how I had already added this thing up from what happened before. Well, I'm about to get one of these. And you just get it. And I still try not to swing hard.
Yeah.
And everybody used to laugh at my batting practice. And I'll never forget, your dad, maybe in his third year or something, we started to notice the younger kids on the other teams coming out to watch batting practice. And they were coming to watch me. And they watched me hit batting practice. So after I finished, they looked at Cal and they go, what was that? They said, he does that every day. That's, I started off, I hit every ball the opposite field. I don't care where you go, you could throw it here. I was going to get my hands inside and hit it that way. But what I was doing was really working on just not being fooled, but I controlled this. You wouldn't believe how many people I saw break bats the first round because they're trying to yank the ball over the fence.
Too much, yeah.
I hit every ball, and that was my thing. And your dad was the greatest at, this is what he's doing every day. He does. So he just throws the ball out there. And now the balls got closer to the fence, but I still didn't want to hit him over the fence. That's not what I was up there to do. I was up there to work.
Yeah.
It's hitting the ball the other way. And then as the rounds go by, you start to pull the ball. And I probably wouldn't hit one out until the last round. But that's just how I was. I mean, weren't getting paid for BP.
Yeah, you don't get paid to be a 5 o'clock hitter, Ed.
Right.
You get paid if you hit them over the fence at 7. And that's, that was the philosophy I grew up on. Get your timing, get the feel, and then when you're ready to let it loose, I think it's fair to say you had enough power to do it if you wanted to. I know the stories of when they were figuring out, could you be a switch hitter? You had power from both sides. And by the way, that might be one of the craziest stories is that you almost weren't going to be a switch hitter. And you ended up being one of the greatest switch hitters of all time. Can you just explain that story for a moment?
We go on one of our long road trips in AA, and we went to Florida. So we went to Jacksonville and Orlando, and we'll work out the first day, hit early. So we go out there. And so one day, Schaefer just decides, all right, everybody get on the opposite side and let's go. Well, everybody had hit, and I was the last guy. So out of the 5 swings, I hit 4 over the fence. Okay. So we go to Jacksonville. Same thing, I hit 3 over. So he's arguing the whole night on the bus with the Orioles up here in Baltimore. He's telling them, I found something. And he going, what are you talking about? You found something. And tell him, you're going to mess up our best right-handed hitter and all this. He says, what do you mean mess him up? He says, I'm telling you he can do it. He says, you need to talk to him. And then the thing on top of that, he says things confidently. He's not getting hyper or whatever, He said, so I went up, we go home the next day, and we're playing. I go to dig in a box right-handed, and I hear him yelling. I says, I told the umpire, I think he's trying to get your attention. And he starts to take about 3 or 4 steps, and he comes back. No, he wants you. And I'm going, he can't pinch hit for me. This is the first time up. I haven't even gotten up or anything. So I'm walking with my head down. What does he want? So I walk all the way to the dugout, and I look at him. I says, yes. And he goes, you ever thought about hitting left-handed? I said, I can hit left-handed. He says, go ahead. Picked up the flap with the flap over here.
Got the other helmet on, yeah.
Yeah. First pitch I got, I hit a double. I went 10 for 32. I got hit the second time up. And I ended up telling him, that's your last time. I go up the second time, and he hit me like right here. And still, that's to me too close here.
Yeah.
So I'm going, it's at me. Which way should I go? I mean, this conversation took to me, it was close to about 12 seconds. take that ball to get hit on home plate to hit me. So it hit me.
Yeah.
So then I thought I would let him know that I know he did it on purpose. And that was his last one. I will be out there. So anyway, that's how all of that started. And it was fun that I didn't have anybody to mess with. I have baseball sense. And I taught myself how to hit. Everything I hit was toward left field, left-handed. And then it was like, I see the field opening up. I can remember still to this day, my first pulled home run. I felt like, what's his name? Ted Williams. He skipped, hopped. And I remember I had pulled a home run, hit left-handed. And I just thought of it as I touched first. And I started like I wasn't running on the ground. I was skipping. I was all
You're
in
so
there.
happy.
Yeah. And then that was the beginning of pulling the balls, hitting left-handed. Because once you conquered that, I got them. I mean, you could already, I was going to kill some third basemen and shortstops. I was hitting balls so hard
You're
that
hitting
way.
bullets.
Yeah, and they just praying, pull the ball.
Well, then you start doing that, then you hit. I mean, I
Mhm.
think the majority of your home runs were left-handed.
Yeah,
obviously.
more right-handed pitchers. Yeah.
More right-handed pitchers.
Mhm.
Then obviously you got over 500. You chose a very interesting time to hit your 500th home run.
Oh, yeah, that day.
Where do you think I'm going with that?
Oh, I walk into the locker room that day, and everybody's talking to me. If I go anywhere outside the ballpark, they're talking. I finally get to the ballpark. No one's talked to me this day. And walk in, and the first person I see is your brother. And I go, Rip, I said, I'm going to do it today. He goes, okay. So we go to do it. We're getting ready to run our sprints before the game.
Yeah.
So I'm running the first one. I turn around, I go to run the second one, and they got this stuff up on the board, Diamond Vision Hemp. And I go, oh, hell no. I didn't want to do it on this day now.
It was a year exactly after the streak,
yes,
right?
It was. And I look up and I go, oh, heck no. And I'm saying, I don't want to do this now. He said, you've already said it, so you got to do it. And they could tell you, I would come in the dugout sometimes. I wouldn't make an out. And sometimes it could be the softest out.
Yeah.
And I walk in the dugout and I said, fellas, it says next time up, I said, he's going deep. And they were, oh, how's he saying this? He hasn't even hit a ball hard all day. And I do it and they go, how does he do this? I mean, because you can hit the ball hard and they'll say, at least he's on him.
Yeah.
But I had a pretty good record of when I said, I'm going to take him out. It was pretty good.
Maybe you just need to say it every time. Maybe you would have hit 700 if you go, yeah, you know what? I'm going to hit that one out of here.
This wasn't in my makeup.
This wasn't in your makeup? Yeah. Well, I was going to say it was in your makeup, was coming up in big situations. I remembered in 95, you had the walk-off hit with Cleveland in the World Series. Mm-hmm. When you were struggling in 83 in the World Series, then, you just wanted to end it yourself. So you went deep twice in Game 5. And also, I think the sequence, fastball was the first home run. Curveball was the second home run, if I saw it correctly.
Well, I got to tell you, see, only Richie Dower really, really knew what was going on. We were playing the Phillies in 83, and I go up, and after the game, we won the night before. So he comes over, and he says, kid, how you feel? How you feel? I was always the youngest on the team until my 7th, 8th year.
Yeah.
So Richie said, how do you feel? How you feel? I said, I feel all right. And he starts running around the locker room. The kid's guaranteed it. The kid's guaranteed it. So I go up the first time and I hit the first home run. So I come back, I shake everybody's hand, I sit down. And after I sat down, I looked down at the bench. I said, Richie, I said, that's not it. So I go up the second time and I hit the next one. I come in, shake everybody's hand, sit on the bench. I said, Richie, that's not it. So I go up and they bring in Al Holland, a left-handed pitcher. And what people don't know, and the reason why I don't talk to the media, that's when I kind of hurt my wrist. So I didn't want to, you don't let people know when you hurt or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and I'm standing at home plate just outside the box. I says, I got one swing. Then I hit it in the upper deck, the third deck in Philly, just fouled. And I go, oh, because then I'm done. I'm shot. So I poke a base, hit the right field. And well, what are you doing? You hit a ball way up there. I says, I got nothing left here. Not for about another 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you can get your swing and stuff together. And then people didn't know I had my shoe. I got hit in the foot with a pitch. So they had to cut my shoe open. So give that bone on your big toe. They had to give it some air, some
let it breathe.
Yeah, so people didn't know that. I said, I don't tell people anything. I'm going to play anyway, so why let us know what's
Why let
wrong
them know
with
that
you?
you're hurting?
Right.
Competitive advantage, Ed. What I love that you talk about is you don't give in. You want to go out there and give your best. The thought process behind it is fascinating to me. The stories that you have, and that's what you're saying about when you're playing hurt. I mean, my dad's brought it up too of, yeah, that's just how it was back then. That's just what you guys did. It was, you're going to find a way. You know what you're capable of doing, but you still got to go find a way even when it's not turning out well. Is that, I mean, if you got a point on that.
And probably the thing that made me really what I was coming up and having Lee May at first base.
Yeah.
Lee May was the first baseman. Well, Earl wanted me to DH. He didn't want me to worry about catching the ball. So I'd go up and all I had to do was worry about hitting. Then all of a sudden he was giving Lee a day off.
Yeah.
And I made a couple of plays out in the field and Palmer was pitching. And he told him, I want that kid to play first base when I pitch. Then Flanagan started. But the whole thing was getting the trust of all those infielders.
Yeah.
So the more they threw the ball in the dirt, it was my job to pick that.
Yeah.
The more you pick that, guess what? The more the ball comes right here. and that's was the most awesome thing because it was something that you were talking to yourself and you just got what was actually happening on the field. And those guys, they didn't worry about throwing the ball. Everything just became there. They didn't worry about
when you have someone, I think first base gets underrated. Obviously, I was a first baseman too. You do what you're supposed to do where you clean up the mess.
Yeah.
Everyone else is better, then they're not afraid to make a mistake. They can go and make the fantastic play because they go, you know what? I got Ed over there, whoever it may be, that's going to clean it up if I mess up. I think that's why it made you guys so good. We'll wrap it up here, Ed, but
But then you got to start thinking about when you're having me back.
Yeah, I mean, when you already come back.
Hey,
you come back whenever you want.
I've had big fun sitting here talking to you, and seriously, you know what you're talking about.
And one thing I got to ask you then, this last thing with the Orioles organization in general. I mean, you played around with different places, but what was so special to you about with the Baltimore Orioles that people maybe don't fully understand?
In minor leagues, that we care about each other and we win. And the first thing he said, because we were going to catch the ball. Oh, we caught the ball. And you started to see other ball teams panic when the game was nearing the end. And they would make the error. Yeah. But we just did not want to make the errors.
Great players, which I tell people, there's talented players all around baseball. Today, when you played, some of the most talented guys don't end up being the best players. Why?
Right.
They don't activate. The combination of superstar is a guy like you, where you had the physical talent, but you knew what you wanted to do, and you were able to execute that. You watched. You were a student of the game. Student of the game that continued to learn and get better and better. And then we look up and, you had 500 some jacks, 3,000 some hits.
Catch the wind blowing, man.
Yeah, that's it. But Ed, I appreciate you, man.
Oh, man. Hey, this has been real. I really appreciate it.
It's that simple. And we're done.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mark me down next time.
Awesome. So love that Eddie Murray sit down with Ryan from over last summer. Happy belated birthday to an Orioles legend. And before we wrap up here, as I said, it's a little bit different of a show today with everything, a lot of chaos going on, trying to figure some things out. While usually we would be taking a break right now, we want to keep the content rolling. So thank you all for tuning into that. Just because it happened, Orioles just win 4-3 over the Tampa Bay Rays. Some big highlights from that. You had Trevor Rogers. I was going to say Tyler O'Neill, but we'll start with pitching. Got Trevor Rogers, 3 innings pitched, just 1 hit, no earned runs. He is looking exactly like the Trevor Rogers of last year, which I'll be honest, I wasn't sure if that's what to expect or what we were going to see from Trevor. Obviously, big shoes to fill from last season. But to start off spring training. And that's the big key words there, spring training. This is still spring training. The statistics don't mean anything, but for a team looking for Trevor Rogers to keep taking that step and hold him to that ace standard, this has been a fantastic start to the spring for him. Tyler Wells, 1 inning, 2 Ks, no hits, no walks, no runs. Love that for him. Tyler Wells can be a weapon in the bullpen. We've been talking about it a lot on this show. I genuinely believe the best place for him to be is let him focus on being a weapon out of the bullpen. Don't do the whole, oh, he might start sometimes. Is he out of the bullpen sometimes? That doesn't help anyone. Let him get a role. Let him get comfortable in it, because we all know how dominant of a pitcher Tyler Wells can be. It's just about having that role to succeed in. Love seeing that from him. Home run from Vance Honeycutt was the difference in the game. Goes out there on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Vance Honeycutt, I mean, if his approach can just change, if he can cut down on strikeouts, get the average up a little bit, the power is there. The defense is there for Vance Honeycutt, the former first-round pick. It would be really cool to see him put it together, to see if he can take those steps. So maybe by August, by September, maybe beginning of next year, we see Vance in Baltimore. He's got an electrifying swing. He's got a bunch of power. Then how about Tyler O'Neill? Another RBI today. Got a double. He was actually, I believe, 2 for 2. Yep, 2 for 2. I mean, how fun would it be if Tyler O'Neill stayed healthy? How fun would it be if Tyler O'Neill stayed healthy? If he can give you 100 games this year, 110 games, 120 games, probably not going to go above 130. But if he can give you that sort of on-field availability, because for Tyler O'Neill, the best ability is availability. When he's on the field, he's going to rake. He's going to hit home runs. So if he can stay healthy, he looks thinner this year. He looks slimmer. He's still jacked. But you can tell that maybe he focused a little bit more, as he said, on the stretching and flexibility. Would be really awesome to see him take those next steps. Pete Alonso, 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts, cut him, waste of a contract, let's overreact, all of that. But besides that, nothing really stands out from the game. It was obviously good to see a few guys, Taylor Ward also getting a hit. So awesome to see from guys like that. We also had an Adley Rutschman walk. If he's getting on base, this team is going to be dangerous. So that's going to do it for this kind of short little show. And no, we're not actually cutting Pete Alonso. We're not actually cutting Pete Alonso. That was just a joke. We're not cutting Pete Alonso. But that's going to do it for this short little show. A little different than usual, but we wanted to continue the content and have something out there for you all to enjoy. So I hope you all enjoyed the Eddie Murray sit down in honor of his 70th birthday yesterday. But before we end this stream, we're going to head over to AutoStream, where if you need anything done, any issues with your car taken care of, head over to our friends over at AutoStream, where you can get $50 off. When you mention Ryan Ripken, cannot be combined with other offers. So head on out and go check out our friends over at AutoStream. We will be back to our normally scheduled show tomorrow, most likely. Actually, I know we have a guest tomorrow. So we will be back with our normally scheduled show tomorrow. We have an awesome guest joining us I think people are going to really enjoy. But that's going to do it for this edition of the Ryan Ripken Show. A little bit different today. Thanks for bearing with us. Thanks for sticking with us during these kind of hectic times right between football and baseball season. And we will see you all tomorrow for another edition of the Ryan Ripken Show.